everyone. We are here at JD Body Treats, and I'd love to introduce the CEO, Georgina Dusseck.
Hello everyone, my name is Georgina Dusseck. I am the CEO and founder of JD Body Treats, a self-care boutique and atelier here in the Bronx, New York. And I am honored to be a part of your career day.
Thank you, Georgina. So, let's start. So, how long have you been in this position, industry, or field?
So, I've been the CEO of my company. I started it in 2018. So, it's been about 3 years now.
Okay. So, what is a typical workday like?
Oh boy, so as a CEO of a company, the workday definitely changes day by day. There's always a variety of tasks depending on how small or big a company is that determines how the day goes. So for me, I typically wake up in the morning and after like taking my kids to school and stuff, I run into the store, I open up shop, and then I start to organize and set up anything that I didn't do the night before. I check my emails to see if there's any orders or customer inquiries. Then I start to like basically check the shelves, make sure things are stocked, run through a list of all that I have to do for the day, make sure that the schedule is on point and everyone's scheduled to come in that day is attending. Typically, like I'm selling to customers, like introducing my products to them, running through the breakdown, fulfilling orders that I get online. I'm managing my social media. Then, it's so many things. I'm just like, I don't know where to start.
It sounds like it's a lot of tasks. So how many are in your team, just so they can understand?
Yeah, so I have 3 people on my team right now. I have myself. I have my executive assistant who basically takes care of any task that can easily be handed off, typically last minute. Then I have my store manager, which she runs store operations. She makes sure certain bills are paid. She deals with the customers and sales as well. And then I have interns who come in occasionally to help deal with the store or social media marketing and things of that nature.
All right, so what do you like best or least about your job and why?
So what I like the most is seeing how what I've created can influence other people's lives. So I just love the look on a customer's face when they walk in and they see how beautiful the place is and they feel like they kind of found a home away from home. I love that customers can come here and find something they can use to care for themselves, which is life-changing for many people who are like, you know, moms who just buried themselves into work or dealing with their children, or someone who just came out of like depression and finally started doing things for themselves. So I like knowing that the products I sell can impact people in such a beneficial way, and that makes me really happy.
So what led you to your current career job?
So I worked in luxury retail for a couple of years. Initially I was in the fashion industry and I started working at this really luxurious company called Georginas, which was a lingerie brand. And they were very high end and they had a way of making their clientele feel very special. So I would notice like when I was dealing with clients, they would come in and get really personal with me and talk about like, you know, how lingerie was changing their lives and how buying lingerie was an act of self-care. So I fell in love with the luxury of the place. It was also purple and it was very elegant, and even though it was high-end, many things in there were affordable. So I said to myself, I'm like, you know, I want to eventually have my own business where I have a product or a service that made people feel special about themselves, but where everyday people like me could afford it. So I didn't know what I wanted to do at first. I had a couple of things up my alley that I was working on, and then I just was like, you know, what about skincare? My children were suffering from eczema and I was making body butters and stuff already to try to help heal them. So I figured I could turn it into a career, and I had gone to school for business as well. I had gotten a degree in business management in college. So I was like, you know, I have the element of a skill, which was skincare and the mind for business, and then I also had the desire to fulfill people's need for luxury at an affordable price. So I just put the 2 things together and started my own business, which was a luxury skincare line that would be set for everyday prices. So then, I want to kind of make the long story short. I started doing pop-up shops, and I really realized that like people love the aesthetic of my brand, and I realized that people kind of needed more than skincare. They needed something that really made them feel like they were caring for themselves in many aspects, from the body to the mind to the spirit and the emotions. So I decided to just basically go find my own shop and open up shop, and I turned my skincare brand into a self-care boutique. So now I just sell a bunch of products that cater to people on all levels, from people who want to deal with their skin issues to people who want to deal with like more emotional and spiritual challenges that they may face. So I sell like crystals and essential oils and so many things that fall under the umbrella of self-care.
So just so our students understand, because again, you were a student at High School of Fashion Industries. What year?
I graduated in 2014.
2014. 2014, guys. So that's what, 6 years ago? Wow. And you're a mom of 3. I want them to know that.
Yes, I am a mom of 3.
So I want you to be like one of the nearest 30 under 30.
Yes, that is literally my life goals.
So what type of interests, abilities, and skills would help a person to be successful in this occupation?
So being an entrepreneur is very broad. I suggest that people learn to find a focus. A lot of times people struggle with knowing exactly what they want to do, and sometimes it may be something you're passionate about, or sometimes it may be something that you're good at. But whatever you choose, you have to be able to make sure that you're choosing something that even when things are slow for you, like for instance, a lot of businesses start off, it's super slow, that you have the drive to keep pushing forward. And I always tell entrepreneurs the best way to run your business is to identify a need. Like, it doesn't have to be entirely a niche, meaning no one else is doing it, but as long as you can provide something that people absolutely need, you will always have business coming in. Myself, I went to the High School of Fashion Industries. Fashion was initially my interest, but then I also realized I like things like art, I liked painting, I like music. And it was very hard for me to figure out, well, I have so many interests, what exactly do I start a business with? And then I realized, I have the ability to learn something, so it doesn't always have to be something you know now. You can literally just take different classes and discover a new skill that you feel like you're good at and turn it into a business. As long as people need something, you can sell something.
I love that answer. Okay, so what, as far as skills, because I would love them to know what kind of skills they would need to know in order to be an entrepreneur.
Yeah. So you need to learn how to communicate. Communication is number one. If you cannot communicate effectively with people, whether it be people you're doing business with or people you're networking with for opportunities, it will be a challenge for you. So one of the many things that helped me is when I took a communications class in college. I learned everything from how to speak better, how to write better emails, which is really essential, how to just talk to people, like written and oral, talk to people on social media, how to up my vocabulary. Even now, like, it was so hard for me to do interviews previously, but I would just practice. And then another thing that helped me is remembering that things can be edited if I'm not on live. So communication is an extremely important skill. So everything from like speech classes to communication, looking at YouTube videos, power posing so that you can build your confidence. That's like, I would say, number one in business.
Oh my God, thank you so much. On to the next question. All right, so what type of education or training, technical knowledge or experience necessary for this kind of work?
So a college degree isn't necessary to start a business. However, because I did go to school for business, I learned so many aspects of business that I would not have known otherwise. Like, for instance, I'm my own accountant. Accountant seems very difficult, but when you do learn it, I think you take about 2 classes in college when you're a business major in accounting, if you're not an accountant, of course. And little things like that, it's like, had I not gone to school for it, sure, I could have learned it from reading books and YouTube, but I'm grateful that I did go to school for it because I learned so much more. Same for marketing, communications, for instance, math like quantitative reasoning. It's like you hear this story like, oh, you don't have to go to college in order to learn these things, but to be honest, like, going to college, even though it may seem like you're taking a bunch of classes that doesn't really contribute to what you want to do. It gives you a well-rounded knowledge, and because of that, there's so many shoes I feel within my business that I wouldn't have been able to fill had I not taken those meaningless classes before. Also, when it comes to any skill, like for instance, soap making, I didn't go to college to learn how to make soap and other skincare. I just went on YouTube. I practiced and I practiced and I practiced and I failed, and I invested in myself. Like I was taking like $20 out of my regular paycheck to go and buy supplies and, like, you know, trial and error. Like you don't just wake up knowing this stuff. So you can find little classes on like Groupon or Eventbrite. You can do so many things. You could talk to someone you know who does something cool that you might be interested in, but I always encourage people to try out as many things as you can, because it might be that thing you never thought in a million years you'd be good at that you are. So that's it.
To elaborate on that, because I would love my students to understand that you started this as a sort of a, I don't want to call it hobby, but a little bit as a side project while you were working full time.
Yes. Yeah, so initially I just was like, you know what, I want to start a brand, but I wasn't going to take it any seriously. I just literally wanted to see what can I do. Like, what can I do? It was just like, okay, maybe I could sell a few things on the side, make like $40 a week or something like that. But it was just really a test to see how I could craft the brand, how I can create an image, how I can, you know, like coordinate colors and appeal to certain people. But I had no idea I would take this as like a serious like main income. So I literally, like I said, I started off just making skincare for my kids, seeing what works for them, started selling it to my friends and family, and then I started to do pop-up shops. And then once I did pop-up shops and people started showing like how much appreciation they had for my products and my setup and things like that, I was like, whoa, this is a really big deal. Like I started receiving emails from like major brands like Condé Nast asking if I wanted to advertise with them and things of that nature. So like people were kind of taking me more seriously as a business than I was taking myself initially. So then I was just like, okay, I think I'm on to something here. And initially I didn't take it so seriously because I saw like there's a million other skincare brands. Like how could mine possibly, like, you know, be something like serious? Like everyone can go anywhere. You can walk outside and find a skincare brand. So I realized that even though the market was seemingly saturated, it wasn't really so much the product itself, but who I was catering to, like my target customer, like who wanted to be a part of what I was selling and who wanted to be a part of that lifestyle and that imaging. Like someone who's like super into like extremely vegan, organic, like straight out of the ground type of skincare may be more intrigued by a brand that has like all brown paper wrapping or glass, whereas mine is more like colorful and stuff like that. So I realized that, like, you know, even though I wasn't taking myself seriously and I felt like there were so many other things out there, there was someone for me in my brand who would be appreciative of it. So
we're laughing here with Georgina because, of course, you guys are hearing the bachata music outside, but just a reminder, we're in the South Bronx, and I love the fact that she opened in such a very ethnic, very our neighborhood. And I love that even there was a client that just came in and asked, like, when did you guys open?
Yeah.
So the students out in our virtual recording understand, when did you guys open?
So we actually opened just 9 weeks ago, and a lot of people, when I was seeking a store, was suggesting like, why don't you open in Harlem? Why don't you open in the Lower East Side? Like, why don't you open in a place where you're gonna get like guaranteed so much business? And I was like, you know, I grew up here in the South Bronx, and as a little girl, I used to escape the South Bronx because I love beautiful places, but it was very hard for me to find an authentic, beautiful place here. Like, most of the businesses here, if they're not super commercial, they're small mom and pop, and they don't really have the funding to create such a beautiful place. And to be honest, a lot of businesses also doesn't care to, given that the typical demographic of the area includes like a very low income range. So when I was deciding on where I wanted to open out, without a doubt, I said I need to be here because, one, the South Bronx needs healing. They need a safe space and a beautiful place where people can come to and express their spirituality and love for themselves. and two, because we don't have a place like this that I know of. And I've been all throughout the South Bronx, and I was like, we don't have a place that sells like crystals and skincare, and you can come in and make your own stuff. And like, we have our little workshops for like yoga coming up and things of that nature. So I was like, sure, I could make 3 times as much in Harlem or on the Lower East Side, but this is where I need to be, because I hope that the neighborhood kind of starts to develop in a way where it's catering more to the residents here than just saying, they don't have the money or something like that. Why should we put something nice in a place like this?
Oh, that is so awesome. I do believe that when you fulfill a purpose and when you really love what you do, the money will come.
Yes, that's 100%. I'm not even worried, because I'm like, here I'm finding my tribe. Like, I had no idea there was so many people like me here in the Bronx until I opened the store, and then so many people are like, oh my gosh, I go over the bridge for this, I go to this place for this. But I'm like, we're here now. Like, we're here and we're loud, and we're gonna continue to grow and pop up in places where a place like this is needed.
Oh, thank you for that, Georgina. Awesome. So what advice would you give a student interested in this career, considering COVID-19's impact?
So the advice I would give people is to persevere. And it's ironic that I say this, because when I attended fashion industries, for the first 3 years, my grades were great. I was a very challenged student, I would say. I would kind of get into a bit of trouble and not do what I had to do, even though like I technically like had like a brilliant mind. And in my last year, I realized like I need to turn things around, or I'm not gonna get into college. Like, I was kind of hanging on a thread with my grades, not taking it seriously. But I was like, what really made me take it seriously is when I got that rejection letter from FIT, because of my grades. Like, even though I met all the requirements and the skills, and my portfolio was excellent, it was just like, girl, you're a C student, like you're not getting in. And that really like woke me up, because I think I applied when I was a junior, and then I got I think over the summer or during the fall of my senior year was when it hit me, and I was just like, wow, like that's the school I really wanted to go to. So then I was like, it's my senior year, I really have to turn things around, because I want to get into college. So I basically started to do much better. I started being on top of my assignments, being more organized, just doing everything I could to get the best grades. And for the first time my whole my whole high school career, I received A's and B's. And at the end of the year, I received a certificate from Ms. Wise, who was my counselor at the time, that said a certificate of perseverance. And first of all, I had no idea, and it also came with like a stipend that I bought a new laptop for college for, which was really awesome because I really needed it at the time. But I had no idea I was even eligible for that award. So when I received it, like I literally like felt like something changed within me. I didn't even know what the word perseverance meant at the time, to be honest. So when I looked it up, I asked her, I'm like, why am I getting this reward and this scholarship? She was like, oh, it's because like you're one of the students who had really terrible grades for a while, and you just completely flipped it around and persevered and made your way to college. And that it was that moment that really changed my perspective on everything. And I looked up what perseverance meant, which basically means to keep going. Like, even in challenging times, keep pushing forward and do not stop. You persevere, you change. You don't let your circumstances define you or change it, or change the outcome of what you want to achieve. So from that moment on, I decided that no matter what happens in my life, I would keep going and keep that momentum and keep having tunnel vision on what it is I want to do. So in college, I received nothing less than a B. I had gotten pregnant, which I don't know how to say this because I don't want high school students to think that it's okay to get pregnant the first semester of college, but you know, my life as an adult like definitely switched up, and I had gotten pregnant unexpectedly, and a lot of things happened in between high school and now, and each and every time I just remembered that certificate of perseverance that allowed me to keep pushing forward. So I just to wrap it all up, I always encourage people to persevere no matter what happens, like whether it be a death in the family, a change in your housing situation, a change in your life, like whether it be mental health changes, whatever changes, just keep moving forward because you won't regret it.
And I don't also want them to understand that your babies are your blessings.
Yes, they are. They definitely definitely are, but I also like, I don't want to encourage teen pregnancy at all. Like,
because you still fit.
Yes, they definitely are a blessing. Like my life literally wouldn't be here without them, because with each child I had, I pushed myself to get further because I had to show them like, this is how you do it. Like nothing is gonna stop here. You know what I mean? So I definitely am pushed as far as I am because of but I also put the disclaimer, like, if you can just wait. Just wait, learn yourself, learn life, learn what you love. I'm not saying life stops after having a child, but live more, because having a child, while it's a beautiful thing, it definitely does change, and everything works around them. It's no longer just your life. Like, you're literally living for another human being, and it's amazing, but it's definitely a challenge.
Thank you for that. So are there other industries or positions where you could work with your skills or expertise?
So aside from me running an entire business in my own store, I actually am an office manager at a private equity firm at the same time. So this is really funny, because it's like, how do you have a full-time job and you're a full-time business owner? So thanks to COVID, I get to be two places at one time. But aside from that, like, being that I did get a degree in business management, that opened so many doors for me. Initially, I was doing executive assistance in the fashion industry. And then after I went from office assistant to executive assistant to office manager. So as an office manager, I basically learned to manage an office for businesses. So like I said, initially I was in the fashion industry, and then I went from fashion industry to finance. How did I get in finance? I have no idea, but luckily with a business management degree, it allows you to go pretty much anywhere, because it's a really broad umbrella, and you basically just learn how to do different types of business operations. So some people take my degree and they go in directly into finance. Some people take my degree, they start their own businesses. Some people work as executive assistants. Some people go into marketing. There's so many doors that can be opened with a business degree alone, because like I said, it's very broad, and you learn so many different skill sets that applies to any business. So you can literally take my degree and go anywhere, literally, like similarly to a communications degree. So
that's great. All right, Georgina, so lastly, so we have a work-based learning program at our school, and we are thinking that you would be an amazing source to form an alliance with you and see if we can help you find your next partner in your team.
Yes, so currently we're opening up an internship program. We're starting the spring internship program, and then we're rolling into summer and fall. And we're basically looking to take on interns anywhere from 3 to 6 months, depending on whether they're in high school or college. And we're trying to fill several internship positions. We're trying to fill sales. We're trying to fill public relations and events. We're also trying to fill an entrepreneurship internship position, in which I teach someone else who's aspiring to open their own business how to basically start it up and running. And alongside me, you kind of get to see the everyday tasks we have to deal with, all the craziness and the fun and the beautiful people we encounter on a daily basis. So we're basically looking for interns to basically teach how to run a business, how to operate certain things, whether it be from marketing to dealing with clientele to actually creating the products that we create here in our lab. And we also want to have someone who kind of like helps push us forward as well, because I feel like in my previous internships, not only did I learn from the people that taught me about business, but I also taught them certain things.
All right, so Georgina, to fulfill the positions that you're looking to fulfill as far as high school students and internships, please let us know, what kind of student are you looking for to fulfill these positions?
So the type of student I'm really looking for are basically students who are very focused, who are very positive, who have great intentions when it comes to dealing with other people, who are self-starters, very motivated, very curious and willing to learn, because that's what we want to do. Like, being a business owner is a learning experience for myself. So I want somebody who also has that curiosity to just want to take on many things that come their way, to learn new ways of doing things, to contribute to new ways of doing things, and to just be a part of something much bigger than themselves. Because I'm not a business owner just for profit. I'm here to really help my community, to really spread love and positivity and the knowledge of what it is to care for oneself. So I need people who kind of embody that as well, or who aspire to embody that type of lifestyle, just improving themselves and the people around them.